As you can see, I am back in the lounge for the time being. This isn't my final resting place. I have someone at work who yesterday watched my videos from the past 2 weeks, and they're both like half-hour long. I'm really sorry about that. You probably don't want to watch them. He watched both of them all the way through and said I need to edit more out. Basically, they were rubbish videos, and I should get back in the living room. Part of the reason why I don't like doing it in here is because it kind of makes me look yellow. Like, the whole ambience of the room is kind of like a yellow glow, whereas back when I was at uni it was sort of like sunlight coming in, you know, it's really bright and sunny, and it's like in the middle of winter and pitch black, and it's currently 27 minutes past 7, and because it's November it's just dark. So yeah, I might not stick in here. I might go back to the bedroom, but it just all depends. I kind of want to get a beanbag. I saw a really cool Spider-Man beanbag. It won't really go with the lounge, but it means I can sort of like sunbathe in the balcony in the summer. Over the last couple of days, I have been rummaging around in some of the boxes that have been here for 6 or so months. Basically, the Death Note DVDs that I got out a couple of days ago, I was planning on lending them to Josh's sister in return for Full Metal Alchemist that Josh has got off his sister. He said I can watch them after him, so I'm probably going to be watching a lot of that. Yeah, so basically, long story short, I went and rummaged around and found this Death Note, but he wants to buy it for her for Christmas, so I'm just going to leave it on the side for now. And when I was looking through the boxes, I found this, which it's from Forbidden Planet in Bristol, and it was £5.99. I have not seen this in about 2 years, and I was very excited to see that it still worked. So I'm gonna go and switch the lights off now. I'm doing it by the lamp at the moment, which is probably even yellower than the ceiling lights, because Josh's girlfriend Flo, bless her, went to switch the kitchen light on a minute ago, and the light was on in here, and like both of them blew, but there's 2 lights in here and 4 lights in the kitchen, so I'm pretty certain that the whole fuse has just gone. Josh did attempt to fix it, but they were late for the cinema, so she dragged him out. Right, I'm gonna go switch the light off and show you this really cool thing. Ah, it's so dark. Hi, here you go, I'll do it on the carpet. You can't really see, but this. How awesome is this? This is my bat signal. Yeah. I can't believe it still works, frankly. And it was like £5.99. It's so cute. It's called The Caped Crusader of Gotham City. And it's got really cool pictures in it, like this. I find the Joker terrifying. I'm like scared of clowns, so it's sort of like doubly scary. The penguin's really ugly. I always get like really hooky nosed people to play him. And the Riddler. Around the same sort of time that I bought this, I actually bought a Pac-Man mug, and I lost it to my Italian flatmate last year, Vito, who is wheat and gluten intolerant. And it's really cool, actually. He started doing American football for Bristol Uni, which was obviously the other university in my city where I went. Yeah, being a cheerleader, I was like, I can't come to any games because my football team's going to be there and they're going to see me like rooting for you. But yeah, he used my Pac-Man mug, and he just kind of kept it in his bedroom so that he didn't get like allergic reactions to stuff. I replaced it like 2 months ago, and then about a month later I went to the shop and said, you know, I bought this for someone's birthday. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. Yeah, so it'd been my boyfriend's birthday, and it's about a week after his birthday that I brought it back to the shop, and they wouldn't let me return it. They said they'll swap it, which is fine with me because I've already had another cup that worked. But they didn't have any in stock, so they had to go to their stock room, and then they haven't rang me back since. So I might call up like at the weekend. My flatmate Hannah and I called up once because we were going to a fancy dress party and we needed a Pokeball, but they didn't even sell Pokeballs in there. Yeah, and what else did I find in the box? This is from the Freshers Fair when I was a fresher. It's a propaganda fridge magnet. I've got this really cool Wonder Woman fridge magnet as well, but it got kind of scratched by my flatmate. Like, I don't know if he was opening the fridge and he like caught it with his nail, so I need to buy a new one, but it's just like a rectangle plain one. I also found season 2 and season 5 of Bleach. that are 20 episodes each. But basically, I don't know what's happened to season 1, season 3, season 4 and season 6, because I do have all the seasons up until 6, but I haven't even seen the whole of season 5. I do this thing where when I was at uni, I used to stay up till the early hours of the morning, sleep midway through the day, wake up, and then I'd sit on the couch until 4 o'clock in the morning. I did Bleach, and then before that I did Vampire Diaries, and then before that True Blood seasons up until season 4 I think I've seen of True Blood. I just went through phases of staying up really late at night watching films, which I can't do now because I've got a job. They're just like a few of the things that I found in the box. I was watching Shallow Hal yesterday, and I've only seen it once. I'm not really a fan of Jack Black, but when it comes to films I'll sort of watch films that he's in. Like, I hate Tenacious D with a passion. I don't understand the mentality of men, or the majority of the time it's men, I'm not gonna lie. Guys love Tenacious D. They're silly, they're immature, they're just, oh my god, I can't stand them. But when it comes to Jack Black, you know, I'll give him a chance. He's an alright guy, he's an okay actor. I've seen The Pick of Destiny a couple of times, I've seen School of Rock once, and now I've seen Shallow Hal twice. Shallow Hal was on last night, and Josh's girlfriend Flo, she was having this massive conversation with me, and I was just ignoring her watching the telly, and I knew that she was talking because I was like, hang on, and then I just carried on watching it. And everyone was like, oh my god, this film's like 13 years old. And I was like, what? Okay, I've only seen it once, so, you know, sharp sort of thing. And then Flo said that when she was little, Shallow Hal was on, and now she like always gets reminded of this time when she watches it. Basically, her dad's best friend, his son was round, and his son was 13 at the time, and Flo is half his age, so she was probably 7 or maybe 6, maybe 8, and she can't remember whether she was like annoying him, winding him up, or whether he just started on her. But basically, this 13-year-old started strangling her, and I thought it was hilarious last night when she mentioned it, because, you know, you always have those things that you associate with like certain things, certain films. Like every Christmas when mulled wine comes into the supermarket, like today the mulled wine came out on like this rack, and it's really cheap, it's absolutely amazing. Like, why is mulled wine £2.50? I've got no idea. But in my first year of uni, my friend Alice, you've met Alice twice before, she's like really innocent and she never really drunk, and you know, I used to buy bottles of wine and offer to share them with her, and she'd be like, yeah, okay then. So we heated up this mulled wine and she absolutely loved it. Now Alice had never seen Twilight, so I had the first Twilight film on DVD. I put it on, put it into the DVD player, poured her a glass of mulled wine, had some Christmas pudding with some like custard or cream on top. I think it was cream. I do like cream with hot pudding. So yeah, we're sat there watching this film, and Alice's mum texts her like, Sam's just passed his driving test. But Alice's mum is a worry possum, and she always used to worry about Alice driving. So she never let her drive from Devon to where we were at uni, which is like Bristol, southwest sort of area. And she used to make Alice leave her car at home. Now Alice has bought this car herself. She had like a little Seat Ibiza, like 5 doors, navy blue, it's really nice. Her mum texted her like, yeah, by the way, he's gonna be using your car. And Alice was like, what the hell was going on? And she rang her mum. Well, like, I paused Twilight, she rang her mum and she was like, what the hell is going on? You know, you can't let Sam drive my car. Sam's her little brother's name. Like, I paid for that car. He didn't even pay for his scooter. He's got like a little moped thing before he passed his driving test. Like, they'd gone out and bought him the scooter, and then they were letting him use Alice's car that she'd paid for. So she was like trying to have a go at her mum, but she's so shy and so quiet, she never stands up for herself. And her mum is also really shy and really quiet. I've met her before, you know, I couldn't imagine anyone yelling at her. But there's Alice with this glass of mulled wine in her hand, and she's trying to shout at her mum. Like, she can't do anything about it because her mum's in Devon, her car's in Devon, and her brother's in Devon. and they've probably got car keys in Devon. And she's just so passionately trying to argue her case that she bought her car and her brother should buy his own car, or they should buy him a car, and he should sell his scooter or his little moped. And yeah, she's like laughing so much because she's so drunk, but she doesn't want to let her mum know that she's drinking alcohol. So she's like kicking her feet around, and she actually fell off the sofa. And she was trying to convince me, I'm trying really hard not to laugh here because I can picture it and everything. She was trying so hard to convince me that she wasn't drunk, but she was like on her knees in front of the sofa with her face in the couch, just like, no, I can't believe she's doing this to me, oh mum, sort of thing. And it was just, oh, it was the funniest thing. But like, she was, for ages, she was like having an argument with herself, and I was just like, look, just ring her up. And then she was trying to shout at her mum, and she couldn't stop laughing, and basically it was just like the funniest thing. And so now whenever I watch Twilight, like the first one, I always think of that time. And, there's another time as well in which we got the giggle. It's my first year of uni. The one thing I failed while I was at university was my finance paper in my first year. I got 14.5% because the aim of the paper was to analyse accounts. Now, I didn't know that we'd been given an extension. On the Friday was the hand-in date. I handed it in, but everybody else argued that as it was snowing, could they have an extension until Monday? So my lecturer rang the university and it got confirmed that there was an extension, but I proper panicked, couldn't find any accounts to analyse online, so I started talking about the building trade. I get 14.5%, 7 other people fail because we haven't analysed accounts, and I don't get sarcasm, so I didn't get on with him at all, but the Irish sarcastic, skinny, bald-headed finance leader basically wasn't happy and he failed us, and we had to retake. But at the time, university regulations stated that if you fail, retake and fail again, you have to leave the course and restart the year. Now it's just sort of capped at 40. You can retake as many times, but obviously you just get 40%. They've probably changed it back, to be honest, since I left, but 2 years after that was the case. Anyway, so I'm proper stressing out. He's actually helped us out by giving us companies that have published stocks, shares, profits, losses. Company's House in Wales, that's the one. It's the night before the hand-in date. I've analysed my accounts. I'm really, really stressed out. Now my friend is ringing me and texting me constantly. I didn't know what to do. I hadn't finished my own work, let alone worry about her. I was literally like breaking my hair off. Switched my phone off. And I felt so guilty that I turned my phone off. I went and sat in the cinema. My deadline's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm there in the cinema just like watching Date Night. Now Steve Carell, he plays that really sort of dweeby retarded guy. It was just the funniest film I had seen in so long. Alice and I were sat in the cinema and we couldn't stop laughing throughout the whole film. I think that the fact I was so stressed, I just wanted to have a bit of fun and forget about my work. I was just proper going for it, and I just remember this really funny scene where they've got a boat over their head and they're running through a park and they crash into a tree, and then they're in this boat they're in this boat going across this lake. And they're getting chased and people are shooting at them, and the boat's going like this fast and it's making such a racket, and we were just wetting ourselves. And like a couple of years later, she bought this DVD. We watched this DVD and it was really funny because it had the funny memory attachment to it from a few years before, but the majority of it was just sort of like a realisation that it wasn't actually as funny as we thought it was. It was just really funny at the time. So now whenever I see him in any film, I am just thinking about that really funny, like we must have been peeing so many people off in the cinema. We must have been like really annoying them. And she was going through her movies and her boyfriend was like, oh, Date Night, that's a really bad movie. And Alice was like, oh my god, Lexi and I, it's like our favourite film. Funny attachments to things like Doughnuts. I remember on a Friday night when I was little, I got Doughnuts and we were watching Star Trek. Now Star Trek is not scary at all. On this episode of Star Trek, they got beamed down to Earth and they were digging up one of the fleet's dead grandmothers, and they lifted the lid off of her coffin and she just sat up, like literally like really slowly, like dead bolt upright. And then these red laser beams, kind of like Superman, came out of her eyes and she started killing people. And then she just lay back down in the coffin. And I was terrified. I was hiding behind the sofa with this donut. And now, like, even the smell of donuts, I have to not think about that awful time. God, I must have been about 9 or 10. Like, why you'd put that on? Kids watch, you know, it's on like primetime telly, you know, it's 8 o'clock at night. Just found it terrifying.